If your boyfriend cheats and then hands you a puka shell bracelet like it's a peace treaty, I'm not saying I'd explode, but I'd probably evaporate on the spot. Okay. Deep breath. What actually happened in the summer I turned pretty season 3? Why did everyone lose their minds? Why did I lose my mind? Stay with me, because this is the full, no-skim, laugh, cry, scream recap. And yes, the mess starts immediately. First things first. This isn't a thesis. I'm not an academic source or a journalist. I actually quit journalism school because I hated it. I watched the show, I took notes, I screamed into a pillow, and now I'm retelling it like your most dramatic friend on FaceTime. If I misplace a scene by an episode, you win the gold star. I'm here for the vibes and the truth of the chaos. Before the play-by-play, meet the cast in 2 sentences each. Belly acts on impulse, leads with her heart, full-body cringe, full-body courage. Her summer world is Cousins Beach, where she grew up with her mom, Laurel, and brother Steven alongside Laurel's best friend, Susanna, and Susanna's sons, Conrad and Jeremiah. Conrad, older, broody, smart, emotionally constipated but a silent provider who appears the second you pretend you don't need him. Jeremiah, younger, golden retriever energy, fun, easy, hot in canon, and this season, coded like a beautiful alien who might have replaced the real Jeremiah. Am I saying body snatcher? I'm not saying it. Susanna passed away from cancer, and her wish that Belly would end up with one of her boys sits on everyone's chest like a weighted blanket that's somehow heavier every episode. Steven, Belly's brother, is a lovable, cocky brain with one functioning neuron for chaos and comedy. Taylor, Belly's best friend, is loyal, loud, and fluent in internet. Laurel, Belly's mom, is complicated. She loves hard and once slapped Belly during the grief storm of season 2, and we all just moved on? I didn't. I'm still not okay. Okay, onward, quick rewind so we're aligned. Season 1. Belly finally breathes in Conrad's direction after years of crush limbo. He's distant because his mom is sick and his dad cheated on her. Belly briefly detours with Jeremiah, then swings back to kiss Conrad at the end. Jeremiah is crushed, and not in the cute way. Season 2. Conrad and Belly crash at prom because he forgot the corsage while drowning in grief. Susanna dies. The beach house is in jeopardy. Belly and Jeremiah circle each other and become a thing. Conrad confesses, unconfesses, reconfesses his timing is a war crime, but we end with Belly and Jeremiah together, dreaming of Finch College side by side. Good, so far. Kind of. Now Season 3. If you only have time to watch one season, it's this one. If you don't have time at all, you have me. Buckle in. Episode 1, the garden, the email, the puka shells. Susanna's memorial garden is opening at a women's shelter in Cousins. For some reason, the brothers are sharing a joint speech like this is a school assembly. Conrad is across the country in California, wearing a watch, going to therapy, king behavior, and getting a hospital internship with Dr. Namazi. His new friend Agnes is the emotional support oxygen he's needed for 3 seasons. Jeremiah, meanwhile, is at Finch, raging in Fratland, still with Belly. Then he misses a graduation email and discovers he needs another semester. Tuition, $30,000 more. He shrugs. His dad pays. My Canadian soul screams in tuition. At a party, Belly overhears, Jeremiah hooked up with a girl named Lacey in Cabo. Did they actually break up before? Was it a fight to break up bait? It's murky. But he picked a fight and then went to Cabo and then... Yeah, Belly is devastated, furious, and done. And the puka shell apology will haunt me forever. Episode 2. Comas. Confessions. Catastrophes. We learn Jeremiah gifted Belly a puka shell bracelet after Cabo because he felt bad. You know what else he felt? Not consequences. Meanwhile, a giant plot bomb lands. Steven is in a car accident and put into a medically induced coma. Yes, this show casually goes from what cake flavor to head of neurology, please. Belly and Taylor hover at the hospital. Jeremiah sleeps in a chair to be near Belly. Laurel and Mr. Conklin are off, reconnecting at a conference to Fleetwood Mac. I also do not care. Conrad rallies the cavalry from California and gets Stephen transferred to the best brain team through Dr. Namazi. Stephen wakes up okay. Conrad gets fired for being too distracted, saving a life, basically. Belly forgives Jeremiah in the emotional aftershock of almost losing Stephen. Then Jeremiah proposes. Yes, proposes. Belly says yes. They are 21-ish. If you need to grab water, do it now. Episode 3, The Smallest Ring on Earth. Belly tells Taylor about the engagement. Taylor thinks Belly must be pregnant. She's not. I am, however, pregnant with questions. Jeremiah puts on tiny glasses to propose, pure Wattpad bait. The ring is so small it counts as a whisper. Again, no shade to small rings. I love them. But this one was a microbe. We also meet the subplot that won't die. Taylor's mom, Lucinda, is losing her salon. Stephen audits her books like a baby finance bro and discovers debt from a trash ex. Taylor gives up a dream PR internship to help her mom build a home salon. It's meant to show growth and sacrifice. It mostly shows that this season wants us to keep pausing Paris to look at a spreadsheet. At Susanna's memorial lunch, Jeremiah orders surf and turf. Adam Fisher, their dad, orders surf and turf, plus a seafood tower like a villain in a linen blazer. And Conrad quietly orders salmon like a humble soldier. Belly tells everyone about the engagement. Panic detonates. Conrad dissociates into the parking lot. Episode 4, Wedding Math and No One Knows Math. Belly's birthday. She wants Laurel there for dress shopping. Laurel refuses. She doesn't support the wedding. Belly ends up choosing a simple clearance slip dress that is suspiciously designer and definitely not clearance. Jeremiah tries to charm Laurel into supporting the wedding. Laurel declines again. Belly and Jeremiah head to the cousin's house to plan and save money. Conrad's there. He hasn't told anyone he got fired. Belly suggests grocery store cake, garden flowers, and coupons. Jeremiah picks that exact moment to be an expert on cacao. Cacao is the bean. Sir, read the room. He wants the $700 dark chocolate raspberry mirror glaze cake. I believe in dreams. I do not believe in this cake. Jeremiah asks Conrad to be co-best man with Stephen. Conrad says the wedding is a little ridiculous, which is objectively true and emotionally a grenade. Jeremiah tattles, Belly mocks Conrad, and he hears it. He still agrees to help because Belly cries alone in a room. He convinces Adam to support the wedding, arguing that being present is better than being absent. I hate how mature that is. Episode 5, Conrad POV. Yearning, Peaches, Michaels. We live inside Conrad's skull for a day. It's soft and stupid in love. He tries to avoid Belly by repairing roofs and almost falls off when she appears in a one-piece. He refuses to drive her on errands. She bikes across town like a determined raccoon with tote bags and coupons. He caves, picks her up, and they tour a florist who demands a $5,000 minimum. They hit Michaels and buy hurricane vases while a cover of Linger plays, and honestly, I was unwell. Then the peach scene. Belly eats a peach, juice running down her face. Conrad wipes her mouth with his shirt. It is biblical. They eat, drink wine, laugh. Jeremiah arrives and the whole room loses oxygen. At work, Jeremiah accidentally catches a shady acquisition because he tried all the formulas. Don't ask me which formulas. Regardless, Adam praises him, bankrolls the wedding, and appoints his ex-mistress Kay to plan it at the country club so he can network at his son's nuptials. Love is dead, but synergy is alive. Episode 6. Tradwife cosplay and apartment hunting from Hell Belly starts dressing like she's applying to be First Lady of Nantucket. It's probably a visual metaphor for, I'm trying to be grown, but it reads, I'm 21 cosplaying 41. She wants lobster rolls at the reception. The country club recoils like she asked for mayonnaise jars with Hershey bars sticking out. Jeremiah's credit is bad. How? His dad pays his card. He got a second card for Bruins tickets, missed payments, and tanked his score. This is character assassination via Experian. At the bridal shower, Belly misremembers a childhood dog story. She thought Jeremiah cried. It was Conrad. She spirals because if you don't know which boy cried over a lost dog, do you know anything? A neighbor gifts her stationery reading Belly Fisher, and she spirals again. Reasonable. That's a name jump scare. Back in Cousins, Conrad wipes blood from a surfing cut while Belly tends the wound, and they almost kiss in a bathroom. Nothing is more erotic on this show than injury management. Episode 7, Bachelor at Night and the Weed Gummy, from another dimension. The bridal party prepares cringy surprise dances. I had secondhand embarrassment strong enough to crack a tooth. The group split. Frat boys with Jeremiah, girls with Belly, plus Denise, who is a shark in finance and my personal hero. Belly admits she's only been with 2 people, both brothers. Anukaka, legend, asks the only question that matters: do you compare them? Belly downs a couple shots and takes a weed gummy, then drops into a full psychedelic spiral like she ate the entire dispensary. She sobs in a bathroom, confessing she's only ever pictured marrying Conrad. Meanwhile, Jeremiah gets blackout drunk. Conrad hears Redbird whisper about how wasted he was when he hooked up with Lacey in Cabo. Conrad tells Belly on the beach. Belly says she already knows. He says he didn't think she'd accept that. Belly fires back. I suffered worse from you. I get why she feels that way, but cheating twice versus prom with no corsage while your mom is dying, not the same. They argue. She bans him from the rehearsal dinner. She collapses into the sand and cries. I did too. Denise and Steven almost kiss, then don't. I respect this subplot because at least they have jobs. Episode 8, rehearsal dinner, ice cream, implosion. Conrad shows up anyway. Of course he does. People tell him to go home like he's an unruly cat. He refuses. After dinner, everyone goes for ice cream. Conrad lingers. Belly tells Jeremiah that Conrad confessed he still loves her. Jeremiah is upset, the understatement of the century, and disappears the next morning like a groom-shaped smoke signal. Steven orders Conrad to find him. Conrad discovers Jeremiah at Susanna's memorial garden and gets punched in the face. Honestly, I understand. Conrad gives Jeremiah a letter. Susanna wrote letters to each son for their wedding day, but the envelopes got switched. Jeremiah reads Conrad's letter, which says she only ever saw Conrad truly loved once, by Belly. This is gasoline on an open flame. Conrad stops by Belly's dressing room and tells her he's leaving for California, but that loving her was worth it. It's the kind of line you want in your bones and also hate to hear because now what do you do with it? Episode 9. Wedding called off, Paris called in. Belly tells Jeremiah the truth. A piece of her will always love Conrad. She also loves Jeremiah. Jeremiah needs all of her, not the shared portion. He also admits he knew about Christmas. Belly and Conrad spent it together at Cousins when flights got canceled, and that's why he picked a fight and ran to Cabo. It's not a good reason. It's a reason the wedding is canceled. Belly goes to the airport and buys a same-day ticket to Paris for study abroad. At the gate, she glimpses Conrad waiting for his California flight. The universe is petty like that. She boards anyway. Paris is not gentle. She finds out the exchange slot isn't secured. Her backpack is stolen with her passport inside. She tracks it via AirPods to a random rave, rescues a woman from a creep, meets Gemma and Gemma's crew, kicks the thief to the floor to grab her bag, and remembers that she is, at core, chaos with a moral compass. She almost flies home, then doesn't. She stays. She works 2 under-the-table jobs, studies online, survives on stubbornness and cheap coffee, and starts to breathe like a person who belongs to herself. Back in the States, Steven and Taylor move from "we're totally just friends" to "we live together, actually." Jeremiah drifts, sleeps around, breaks hearts, and waffles between Lost Boy and Hungry Chef. He eventually moves in with Denise. I didn't see that pairing on my bingo card, but I'm listening. Episode 10. Letters, Brussels, and a Postcard. Conrad restarts life in California under Dr. Namazi, holding steady with Agnes at his side. He mails belly care packages, Junior Mint, the stuffed polar bear with sunglasses, little comforts, and letters he doesn't expect her to answer. Belly, now Isabel, to the bar regulars writes back once, a warm, simple postcard. He keeps it in his wallet like it's a passport to hope. He has a medical conference in Brussels and wonders if he should hop to Paris. He buys a plane ticket. He does not tell her. Is that sane? No. Is it romantic? Also no. Is it very Conrad? Absolutely. At Christmas in Massachusetts, Laurel invites Adam, Jeremiah, and Conrad. Why she did this, I'll never know. Adam ruins it by bragging he blocked funding for Stephen and Denise's startup while wearing a Santa hat. Stephen quits on the spot and chooses his company. Jeremiah stands on the porch and decides he can't go inside. Laurel meets him in the cold, and they find peace there. Episode 11. Paris, a Bob, and a Birthday. Conrad appears on Isabel's street with no hotel, no plan, and too much heart. She arrives on a moped with Bonito, her sweet on-again, off-again French boy. She sees Conrad and freezes. He says happy birthday, and they spend the day together like tourists with shared history, bread, rooftop views, watching the city pretend it's not watching them. At her birthday party, her Paris friends clock him immediately. Is that the guy? They argue about villains. Is it Conrad? Is it Jeremiah? Is it Belly? Belly votes for herself. She's not wrong. Bonito gifts her a giant sexy photograph. We all blush. Later we learn they've broken up. Belly smokes a joint and looks impossibly chic. Some people become European in Paris. Belly becomes herself. They walk home slowly. A busker plays. They dance, they kiss. They stumble up her stairs, shirts and thoughts a mess. He whispers, "I've dreamed of this." It is, admittedly, a line that could turn me to dust or laughter depending on the hour. They have sex. Taylor Swift would like a word, then the whiplash. Belly comes back from the bathroom and panic pivots. What is this, really? Would they exist without Susanna? Would they have found each other now, as these versions of themselves? Conrad says yes. He'd love her now, there, anywhere. She tells him to catch the next train to Brussels. He leaves. Seconds later, she realizes she's made a mistake, grabs her coat, and runs. Episode 12, Are We Out of the Woods Yet? She races through the station as Out of the Woods pounds in her chest. She finds him on the train, breathless, honest. She chooses him. She admits what we knew when she cried in a bathroom, when she wiped blood from his leg, when she couldn't look at stationery with the wrong last name. She loves Conrad Fisher. His brown eyes answer like a door unlocking. Meanwhile, in Cousins, Jeremiah throws a chef's dinner that nearly collapses. The venue falls through. They move it to the beach house. Adam shows up uninvited with wedding champagne he's been trying to unload since the non-wedding. Stephen and Taylor nearly implode over a San Francisco move they forgot to plan together, then decide to do the scary thing as a team. Denise and Jeremiah finally admit their spark. It's messy. It's human. It works. Somewhere between dessert and relief, Jeremiah forgets ramekins he demanded and manages fine without them, because that's this season in one image. We thought the details would save us when it was always the choices. Belly closes her voiceover with something simple. Brown hair, brown eyes, and the boy she chose. Not because Susanna asked. Not because it was a childhood script. Because across grief and guilt and peaches in Paris, she learned her own name, and then she said it out loud. That's what actually happened. That's why we were all feral. That's why I was feral. Now, a few quick truths that kept me hooked. If someone apologizes with a puka shell bracelet, that is not an apology. That is a jump scare. Cacao is the bean is the funniest sentence uttered about a $700 cake. You can be wrong, messy, late, fired, and still deeply good. Paris won't fix you, but it will hand you back the parts you forgot you had. Loving the right person at the wrong time hurts. Loving them when you finally become yourself feels like air returning to your lungs. I'm not done screaming, but the season is. Until the next chapter, protect your passports, your peaches, and your hearts.